Hey friends, welcome back to the Elevated Dose. This is the second bonus episode in this January series, and today I want to talk about something that sits underneath almost every struggle I see people having with change. Burnout, inconsistency, feeling like nothing sticks, feeling like you're always starting over. Most people think those problems mean they need a better system, a better planner, a better routine, a better strategy. But in my experience, most of us don't need optimization. We need orientation. We need to know what we're actually building our life around. Because when you don't have orientation, every important attempt becomes exhausting. Not because you're incapable, but because you're optimizing in the dark. So today we're going to talk about why orientation has to come before optimization and why skipping this step quietly sabotages even the best intentions. Orientation is not a plan. It's not a goal. It's not a resolution. It's not a productivity method. Orientation is knowing what matters before you start making decisions. It's the internal compass that answers questions like, what am I protecting? What am I prioritizing? What am I no longer willing to sacrifice? Without orientation, decisions multiply. Every choice becomes a negotiation. Every request feels equally urgent. Every opportunity feels like it should be considered. And that's where cognitive overload starts. When we say that we feel scattered or overwhelmed, what we're often experiencing isn't too much work, it's too many undecided values. Optimization feels productive. It gives you something to do. New planner, new app, new morning routine, new habit stack. There's comfort in tools because tools promise control. But optimization without orientation just makes you more efficient at living a life that doesn't fit. You can have the most beautifully system in the world, but if it's optimized around the wrong thing, it will still drain you. I see this constantly in myself. We optimize productivity while our health is unraveling. We optimize health while our work structure is unsuitable. We optimize finances while emotionally spending to cope with stress. Optimization treats symptoms. Orientation addresses cause. When you don't know what you're protecting, everything competes equally. Work deadlines, family needs, social obligations, content expectations, and health routines. And because everything feels important, you try to do it all. That's not ambition, that's survival mode. Burnout doesn't usually come from doing too much. It comes from doing too much without meaning or alignment. When effort isn't anchored to a clear internal standard, it feels endless. We never feel done. We never feel at rest. We never feel like we're doing enough. Orientation gives effort a container. This part matters more than most people realize. Orientation isn't just philosophical, it's physiological. When we know what matters, our nervous system can relax because uncertainty is expensive. Every unresolved priority is a low-grade stressor. Every undecided boundary keeps our system on alert. Orientation reduces threat. It says, this matters, this doesn't. This can wait. This needs attention right now. That clarity creates safety. And safety is what allows consistency to emerge. Not discipline, not willpower, but safety. For a long time, I thought my problem was execution. I couldn't stick to plans. I kept burning out. I felt like I was constantly recalibrating. But when I looked closer, the issue wasn't that I didn't know how to do things. It was that I had never clearly decided what my life was organized around. Everything was reactive. I responded to urgency instead of intention. I let other people's priorities set the tone. I optimized productivity without asking what it was costing my body. When elevated became my word, it wasn't about doing more. It was about deciding what deserved protection. My energy, my health, my capacity to show up long term. Once that was clear, optimization finally worked because it had somewhere to point. Busy lives are optimized. Aligned lives are oriented. Busy lives feel frantic even when they're productive. Aligned lives feel steady even when they're full. The difference isn't volume, it's intention. When we're oriented, we can be busy without feeling scattered. We can rest without guilt. We can say no without over-explaining because decisions aren't about preference, they're about alignment. If someone listening is wondering where to start, here are the questions that actually matter. What am I protecting this season? What consistently gets sacrificed right now? Where do I feel resentful about how my time or energy is used? Resentment is data. It often points directly to misalignment. If you're resentful of work, health might be unprotected. If you're resentful of routines, rest might be missing. If you're resentful of money, clarity might be absent. Orientation starts by listening. Once you're oriented, optimization becomes supportive instead of oppressive. You don't chase every improvement, you choose improvements that align with what matters. You stop asking, is this the best system? And start asking, is this the right system for the life I'm building? That shift is everything because sustainability isn't about intensity, it's about alignment over time. This episode matters because everything else builds on it. Elevated work only works if you know what work is supporting. Elevated health only works if you know what health is protecting. Elevated habits only work if they serve your real life. Elevated finances only work if they align with your values. Orientation comes first, optimization comes second. That order matters. So if January feels noisy, scattered, or overwhelming, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need to do more. You don't need a better system yet. You need orientation. You need to decide what your life is anchored to. Once you do, everything else gets quieter and we'll keep building from there.